We are live this week with some Modern. Things are a bit different as we are trying out some Amulet Titan. This is, if not the most complex, still one of the more complex decks to pilot in the format. It's a deck that's been through a number of iterations, a number of bans. Summer Bloom was a part of the original deck, as was the 6-mana enchantment that copies spells. Hive Mind, along with Pax, is one of the old kill cons. It's had Feel the Dead banned. It's had Dryad largely replace Azusa. It's adopted both Urza's Saga and Mycosynth Gardens into its package. All in all, this is a very different deck than a lot of modern decks. For starters, it uses a lot of the Ravnica bounce lands, which kind of break the symmetry of having more than one mana tapping for them. The downside is they come into play tapped. And then the other side of the equation is Amulet of Vigor, which allows you, whenever a permanent would enter the battlefield tapped under your control, untap it. This allows you to create shenanigans with one copy of Amulet, netting you 2 mana, and then multiple Amulets giving you multiple triggers, which can be tedious to manage on Magic Online, but does give you some very powerful explosive potential. Beyond that, you are a Dryad of the Elysian Groves deck, so you're also running Valakut as ways to end the game, in addition to smacking your opponent really, really hard with Primeval Titans and Cultivator Colossi. And then the rest of the deck is lands, ramp, ways to find your key spells. Arboreal Grazer and Sakura Tribolder as ways to ramp. Dryad is both a ramp spell and a payoff way to finish the game outside of Titan. This particular version is running a 1 of Ilishnorn, a 1 of Wormcoil Engine, and a 1 of Cultivator Colossus. This was from a Japanese deck, so there's a lot of builds of Amulet going around right now. Karn used to be included in these builds. Another card that's popped up recently since the printing of Lord of the Rings is the One Ring. I'm just going for as close to a base version of Amulet as I can because I'm very inexperienced with the deck. And then land base, which is notable, 3 copies of Boseiju. Blood Moon's a real pain for this deck. Cavern of Souls, counter spells are a real pain, so this allows you to force through most things other than Subtlety. Castle Garenbrig as another soul land as well. Hanwar Battlements. Basically, there's 2 camps with the haste lands. You have Hanwar Battlements Valakut, or you have Boros Garrison, Slayer's Stronghold as kind of your ways to get the thing. There's no double strike land in this one, so no, what is the name of that? Sunhome. So the mana base is a little bit cleaner. You have 4 Selesnya Sanctuary, 4 Simic Grove Chamber, 1 Gruul Chamber, or Gruul Turf, so you have a total of 9 balanced lands, total of 11 soul lands, 2 Teleria Wests to be able to transmute for your Pact. Summoner's Pact kind of ties it all together, allowing you to find your Primeval Titans, your Dryads, your Cultivator Colossi, etc. And then as far as your Urza Saga package, in addition to the Amulets, you have 1 of copy of Expedition Map to find, your Cavern of Souls, your Balance Land, your Urza Saga, whatever it is you might be needing. And obviously, the whole thing ties the deck together. Primeval Titan, enough said about that card. Sideboard on this one's a little bit weird. You have the basic Island 4 Hydroid Crisis package. This is primarily for Blood Moon matchups and decks with a bunch of counterspells. Kind of allows you to fight through the counterspells by getting your cards regardless if the Hydroid Crisis resolves or not. You have 2 copies of Relic of Progenitus for any type of graveyard nonsense. Living End's been really big this weekend. Any other nonsense, you might even bring this in against Murktide, although I think this package is probably more than enough. Wormcoil Engine when you need more resilient threats against grindy matchups. Stonebrain, I'm guessing this is the go-to combo hate now. In the same vein, you'd play Chalice of the Void or something. This is good. Potentially in the mirror match, good against Living End, good against Rhinos, etc. Tron potentially. Endurance to play with your relics against graveyard nonsense, also good against Murktide, and then 3 Dismembers when you need to deal with Ragavans or copies of Magus of the Moon, potentially. So that is Amulet. Let's see how this nonsense goes. One thing, they did bring back friendly leagues, so for this one we're going to be doing a friendly league. Those of you who don't know, there used to be friendly and competitive leagues, and then they smushed them into one. Now they've kind of brought the friendly league back, at least for Modern, so we're going to try that out since I am less familiar with this and it's risking a little bit less, so to speak. Opponent has a companion of some kind. Presumably Gigantha. Nope, Kahira. So this hand, if it drew a bounce land, would be really, really good. But only having 9 bounce lands in our deck, I don't think we can risk it, so I think we have to mulligan this hand. This hand kind of has the same problem, although we do have Castle Garenbrig into that, play Dryad. So put back Cultivator Colossus and hope this is good enough. Amulet's a really unique deck in that, you know, the games can be over turn 2, turn 3, but it also has the ability to play really long games sometimes. So, it's going to play Amulet and pass. Opponent likely with Prismatic Ending. I was thinking Leyline Binding, but Prismatic Ending also makes sense. Possible we were supposed to play the bounce land there, but Teferi Time Raveler, I'm guessing. Yep. Yeah, we should have played the bounce land last turn, so. Fortunately, without the amulet, we're just kind of getting stomped here. Their deck is very capable of removing Primeval Titans, whether they resolve or not, because of Solitude. So, this could be a bit of a grindier affair if we ever draw more lands, which you would think our deck with, you know. Of course, their deck probably runs Elesh Norn, so our Titans might literally come in and do nothing. There's a Saga. We'll lead to the party. Dryad. Castle go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we draw a land, okay, they're just gonna bounce. There's a Saga, yay. We have Omnath. You have Elesh Norn as a follow-up, or Solitude, or looks like Solitude. Okay, let's curve Tribe Elder and pass. guess that forces through some damage, but it's just like, did you really have to try to ping with your Renin 6? Okay, presume you have another. Mm-hmm. All right. So I go Valak hits. Bounce land for now. Bounce that to her hand. Line binding. Yep. That's for 7. Kahira in the hand. Eldamari's call, sure. For Solitude. Does Amulet change the equation? One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have enough mana for both to cast all 3 things. Start by casting Amulet, see what they do about that. See if they counterspell this. Line binding the Amulet. Okay, sure. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look in Solitude here. Well, it's just got it all, apparently. Alright, so, because we know they have the Solitude in hand, so we'll just go ahead and concede. Go was kind of pointless in this matchup. Island's probably okay, along with some number of Hydroid Craci. Go down. Colossus. It's pretty decent against their deck. Down a Grazer or two, maybe. Try like that. Alright, yes, I'd like to play first. What does this hand even do? We have turn 1 Garenbrig, or turn 1 Urza's Saga. I mean, we can get ahead on lands here. And this is the 4th land, but we still need to draw like a bounce there or something, but I feel like this hand's just close enough to be fun. We happen to draw an Amulet, we could always potentially fetch Expedition Map too. Okay, Forest, play a Grazer. Alright, I think we use this to go get a map then. Okay, iteration. Presumably they have something like prismatic ending or something to interact. Yep, looks like prismatic ending. It's possible we weren't supposed to expose the Amulet there. I guess Ninth Gardens is fine. Go and grab a bounce land. Growth Chamber. Should have attacked first. Gotten one more damage in. So many things to keep track of with Amulet. It's easy to make small mistakes that can easily add up. All right. Feels like our opponent might go for, what the heck are they holding on to here? 4 mana, do nothing. Subtlety, maybe? 2, 3. So we'll just go ahead and attack here. Only drawing a single card, but yeah, that does nothing. This is a draw effect, not a oh, I guess it technically dies, so just the battlefield. Okay, sure. Not exactly the best use of dress down, but I guess it works. Transmute. What do we even get here? Let's go ahead and grab a Besiege. We're going to play a Subtlety. Yep, Solitude. Okay. We'll try for a pact, see what they do. Good chance this just eats a Subtlety, but nope, rest down. Alright, so we are infinitely weak to dress down. Good to know. Omnath, nope, Kahira, okay. Could get her as a Saga going, but I think we're supposed to bounce the Cavern here. Hera, sure. Still feels like they're holding up subtlety. But I'm not sure that we can really afford to play around it for much longer. Could also be Solitude as well. Alright, play Summoner's Pact, see what they do. Beast. Draw 4. And pass. Yeah, that's one thing we don't want to lay land binding. The fairy. All right. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7th.
Six always comes after five.
So I could play a Titan. Hope it doesn't get countered. Though they haven't even shown us a counter spell yet. I mean, they've shown us Dress Down, they've shown us Solitude. It's possible they have Subtlety. They could have counter spells, but you think if they had counters, they would fight over the Summoner's Packs. So I may just have to play this as counterable. And if they have counterspell, more power to them. Yes, let's grab Valakut and Teleria West. Bounce land. And let's see how they deal with this one. We're just dead if they have Omnath, so. Doesn't look like they have Omnath with fetching like that, so. Yes to 7. Try it as a what? Ah. Just dead to Renin ticks. Got it. Yeah, it's amazing even in the friendly leagues how many tier decks I've been running into. Played a couple burn leagues with it and ran into like living in, rhinos. So even with the lower stakes, it still looks like you're running into a lot of tier decks. So, all right. So, bless you. We have potentially turn 3 amulets into. Yeah, seems like a pretty good hand if our opponent can interact. It's what a turn 3 kill. Potentially. Or is a Saga play amulet? Turn 2 bounce land Dryad. I guess without the double strike lands, this isn't technically a turn 3 kill, but it is still quite nice. Turn 1 growth, okay. So we could be up against either technically it's kind of the play tapped. Hello Miles, Harrington, how are you? So float could be with Arid Mesa. It's still kind of hard to tell, but yeah, it could be Enchantress. Which, ironically, the only practice match I played against was actually Enchantress. So, float a green. Packed. Question is, should I be playing around Solitude? I think we'll try for the haste and see what happens. This plus Handler Battlements. Leave them untapped. Go to combat. Alright. I'm about to get hit with a Leyline Binding. Feels like I am. Eldamari's Call. Okay. So if they kill my Dryad, we're dead to Pact. I guess no, they just have to bounce it, huh? Yep, good old fucking Teferi Time Raveler for the win. Oop, prismatic ending. Same result, we're dead. Alright, apparently we're on the play against a bunch of Omnath piles. Do this, just go down all the Arboreal Grazers, and Worm Coil. Could, like, bring the Stone Brain, but that just doesn't feel like what we should be doing. Just feels like this Hydroid Krasis kind of go with a grindy plan. Alright, well, this hand is slow as heck, but if we ever find a green source, or a white source, we have the best card in the matchup. Well, there's a lot of ways we could have played around it. The problem was with the information our opponent presented, we didn't know precisely what they were on. Because Abundant Growth can be Niv to Light, Enchantress, and Omnath Elementals. And not even all versions of Omnath play that. So, while that is the most prevalent, the fact that we ran into specifically Solitude into Teferi, what I should have done was not go for the haste land and set up for another Titan, is what I should have done. Potentially try to go for a longer game with Valakut, but this hand obviously is very, very slow, but we're in a slow-ish matchup. And we can always pack for Dryad if we need to speed up a little bit. But Colossus and Elish Norn are among the better cards in the matchup, so. But this is one of the downsides of when you're inexperienced with a deck, especially with as many weird interactions and situations as Titan. What is Dryad's card type? Just so we're... Nymph Dryad. Okay. Not playing around subtlety here. They have it, more power to them. Regardless of whether they kill this Dryad, we still got an extra land drop. Prismatic ending? Yep. Nope, to fairy bounce. Okay. Which is annoying, but at least this time it doesn't cost us the game. Love to draw a bounce land and be able to cast Elishnorn. What's up, Leanin? How are you doing? Omnath.bs. Right source? Unsurprisingly, your opponent is evoking an element or a solitude. Two, three, four, five, six.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
What are you doing? Something?
Nothing.
Alright. Curious to see what our opponent plays here. Five mana, Elishnorn? Indeed. So, 1, 2, let's go ahead and play the bounce land. Downside is we can't play Elishnorn here, so I'm pretty sure we're just dead. Because this wouldn't do anything, enters the battlefield, we put land on the battlefield. Yeah, we have Elishnorn, so we're just kind of skewered here. It's one matchup when Fran's streaming this deck that I've never really paid much attention to, and you would think on the surface that come in.
I am. It's just taking me a minute.
On the surface, this would be a good match for Titan, but just with Leyline Binding, Solitudes, Elishnorn, just feels like it's kind of a rough matchup. Maybe there's a way to play the matchup where it feels better, but
I'm watching the screen delay. I saw me.
they are, but ironically they didn't have that good of a weekend. It was really Living End's weekend as far as results and stuff, so. But Certainly doesn't feel like a good matchup for us. I hit for 9. If they have a fetch land, we're just dead. Or, you know, 4 Risen Reef triggers might do it too. Go to 1. If they have run and ticks, we're dead. The new build isn't really all that different from the old builds in terms of the same cards are still good against it. I just think everybody was concentrating on the power of the One Ring and not really, you know, paying attention that a tier deck got better. So.
It's One Ring to rule them all.
Pretty much.
Big precious.
Well, that's exactly what it's based on. Alright, so we're just going to get pinged to death by a second Omnath. So. Alright, and we're done. Alright, well, I mean, we're going to get very good at losing the same matchup if we keep playing it all the time. Yeah. I would have to go and, like, look for content on that particular matchup to know if there's a better way to play it. Like, obviously, game 1, we could have played around Solitude, but even in a long game, I don't know that we win. As long as the Elementals players play smart. Because the way you generally win a longer game where your opponent's removing all of your Titans is by Dryad Valakut, but... So how are you guys doing tonight? Hopefully everything's going well for you guys. What?
I was demonstrating how I'm doing tonight.
You know why I'm glaring at you.
Well, I suppose it's better than...
I'm sure you'd much prefer that.
Yeah, probably. But I knew all this was going to be wrinkled, so...
I would have gotten it after this match. You know you shouldn't have been lifting that.
You know they're already cold, right?
Shouldn't have been.
Well, there was in that who knows how long dryer.
Oh, yeah. Could be 30 minutes, could be an hour and a half. You're never quite sure. I was going to say, because it had barely been 35 minutes when I started. Not quite, but...
I mean, you switched it when this clock said 6:30. It's 7:30. Or a little before. I lose count.
Let's see what did well this weekend. There's a lot of events going on this weekend. One of the downsides of the friendly queue is sometimes they take a little bit longer. There was an energy event. Living In was a huge part of that. Elementals did win Haruya. And then... Alright, I guess I'd like to play first. This hand's a little slow. I don't know. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 Dryad. The kind of hands that I'm never sure you're supposed to keep. If you're supposed to mulligan to be more aggressive, but it's got almost everything you want. Turn 3 Dryad. Turn 4 Titan? Question mark. So... Turn 1 Swamp Thoughtseize. Yep. Because... Presume we're up against Scam. Or Death Shadow, not sure which. Good chance we get Blood Moon next turn. Yep, Scam it is. Which means if they kept Thoughtseize, this has to be a Blood Moon this turn, because their start's just way too bloody slow. No, Fable. Okay. Don't think we can quite do the craziness this turn. Play Giant. Hope we don't get Blood Moon. Fatal Push, land. I'm gonna get hit by a grief, aren't I? Nope, Thoughtseize, of course. There's really no reason to play a Boreal Grazer right now. I mean, I guess it blocks Monkey if they were to top deck that. Dashing Monkey. Yeah, Grief gets our Boreal Grazer. Yeah, it's kind of whatever. Problem is if we don't top deck something this turn that isn't Teleria West after this turn, we're just going to get Thoughtseized every draw step. Elishnorn. Well, they have Terminate. This kind of sucks, but otherwise it's quite decent against their deck. Turn Cavern into our hand. Hope they don't have Terminate. We do get to hit us for 6 here though, which is less than ideal. At least it doesn't appear they have the Terminate. Sea Grenade, they're alright. The positive about them is the you're putting less on the line, but the downside is it doesn't actually look like there's that much difference between the leagues what you're playing against. So, like the first league I played in a friendly league with Burn a couple days ago, I played against like some off-the-wall brews like Esper Flash and an old blue-white control deck and some other stuff. But the other league that I played with Burn, and then the league that I played with now with Amulet Titan here, I've been running after tier deck after tier deck after tier deck. So it's like the night. It's nice that you're not risking as much, but it's not like you're really playing against different decks, unfortunately. Wormcoil Engine might be okay. Not really sure if we're supposed to try to play around the Scam part of the deck or the Blood Moon part of the deck. It's like I could bring these guys in and just try to outgrind them and go down like Arboreal Grazer nonsense and try to play like a mid-range value game against them. Could bring in the Endurances. I'm not really sure like which side of the equation we're supposed to be on here. So Cultivator Colossus, Hydroid Krasis, Wormcoil Engines. Maybe go down one Amulet since I wish there was some way to find Ilishnorn. Like, I don't know. Guess you can conceivably play something like a 1 or 2 Finale of Devastation if you really wanted to be able to find it. But obviously that's kind of overcosted for the deck. We have Beseju, have Dryad. Can't really count on anything in your opening hand to stick. With Thoughtseize, Grief, Undying Effects. So I think you're just supposed to keep this hand. Hope you draw a basic forest if they are on the Ragavan Blood Moon plane. But yeah, so far they're fine, Secret. They're just, there's not much differential, which I guess if people are testing and they want to see tier decks, then it's not a huge deal, but of course they have the Notre Dame monkey. Really, you know, I used to be fine with this card, but the more I play against it, the more it's just like, just go away, Ragavan. You're so annoying. You do so many things. You just need banned. Opponent exile or basic island. Blood Moon. Yep. Shocker. Guess we just hope to draw one of our basic forests. It's possible I was supposed to mulligan for forest to go with this Passagia. But yeah, they exile our only copy of basic island. Which means no Hydroid Crisis for you. Exile Urza Saga, which is definitely a land we did not want to draw. Thoughtseize, take Dryad. Card they'd really want to take is Passagia, but... What's up, Foz? How you doing? Hey, basic forest, what do you know? Actually, I should have played... Dryad. Tolarianist. Pass. See, you found your whatchamacallit account. Chalice on 1. Okay. Don't think that's the one you're supposed to play it on.
I think he did anyway.
Oh, I know my opponent did. I'm just laughing because they chaliced on 1. They're supposed to chalice on 0. Yes?
I gave you funny ears.
My wife is bored and I'm gonna be in trouble.
Hey now, be glad I'm not getting out the antlers.
That's alright. I followed my opponent's mistake by letting you distract me and Passagiaing the wrong thing.
That's all it takes to distract you. I need to remember that when I play against you. Shoot.
Yep, we meant to Passagia the Blood Moon, and my wife completely...
Sorry.
No, you're not.
I am a little bit. I like it when you win. You're happier. No, I'm up there. I am. Ha! Okay.
Okay, deck bailed us out, fortunately.
No, I'm not what I want yet.
You're not what you want yet. Okay.
Just go with me.
That's the old phrase. Better to be lucky than good.
Who said that?
Many different Magic players.
I was gonna say, I have never heard that. Even in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's always better good than lucky.
No. It's better to be lucky than good. Guess we technically could have killed them there, but... I'll tell her you said hi, Foz, whenever she gets back. Alright. So how's your testing with Enchantress going, Foz? Or are you just playing it for funsies today? Okay. I was going to say, unless you have something else, you're just dead here. You won't believe how many times I was lucky, never good. I'm sure it's nice to have a balance of the two, but honestly, of late, it's been nice to have a little bit of luck. Nice. Including absolutely donkey stomping me earlier. So for those of you catching this stream for the first time or catching this later on YouTube, Seeker Nair has been with us for quite a while, I do believe. And Foz is one of, if not, or one of our originals on the channel, along with War Dog. It's been a while since I've seen him, though. Space Marine. Who else was there? There's been a couple others that pop in. Oblivion. Yeah, I know you were the first patron. I'm just trying to remember who was the first. Some of the originals. There's several other people that pop in from time to time. But you've probably been the biggest financial contributor to the channel over the years. I can say that pretty definitively. Don't think this hand does anything. This hand has a bunch of lands. I don't think it does anything, though. Keep this, put back Colossus, Valakut. Well, yeah, I'm trying to think. There's somebody else specifically that shows up in chat quite a bit now. That I'm blanking on, and I really, yeah, Kyle still shows up. Why do you call him... I know you've said this before, but why do you call him Kyle? Wow. I've officially been reprieved by the likely creativity deck. Time walk again? Nope. No time walk that time. I don't think his real name's Kyle, though. Because I've actually met Space Marine in person, and I'm trying to remember what his name was, but I don't think it was Kyle. But it might have been. I don't know. Punished for playing the bounce land. Play another Sack Elder. Sure, you know I have Besagium in my hand, so... Yeah, I know you're in Philly. Actually, I didn't remember you were in Philly. I knew you were in Eastern PA. But can we beat an Archon? There's a part of me that's just tempted to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'm just gonna block. So, Giant, pass. Really no reason to just give them a free Archon trigger. Weird game. Weird game. Doesn't seem like they have a creativity. Alright, play this. Titan. Don't think we can go for hasty, unfortunately. Let's just grab Teleria West's Growth Chamber. Bounce Teleria West. That was not what I meant to do. Good job. Oh well. Mistakes were made. Seems to be the story of the stream. Mistakes were made. They have a creativity and they've been chilling on it. More power to them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, what? Okay. Sure. Definitely a weird draw from the Titan deck. Not Titan deck, the creativity deck. Alright, there's an amulet. Okay, so what are we doing here? We are amulet, Teleria West, bounce Teleria West with Vesuva. Cast amulet. Alright, Vesuva, copy Growth Chamber, untap. It's going to cost us the mana to be able to Titan this turn, but bounce Teleria West, transmute Teleria West, Summoner's Pact. You're 1 mana short from being able to do everything this turn because I screwed up last turn. So our opponents, whatchamacallit, shouldn't have mattered this turn, but alas it did. So, and if they have creativity, we're just dead. So nothing we can do about that. All right. That doesn't really do anything. So Amulet Titan, Giant, Primeval Titan. Hope you don't have a reprieve. Though I have no idea what your hand could be at this point. Alright, yes. Grab. Valakut. Handler of Elements. Tap, untap. Grab. Teleria West. Selesnya. Tap. Tap. That's Teleria West. Somebody's fussy. Transmute. Grab Summoner's Pact. Cast Summoner's Pact. Get Dryad. Cast Dryad. Play the Suva. Copy Valakut. Alright. So probably want the Stonebrains in this matchup. Don't really feel like we want Worm Coil. Doesn't really feel like a Dismember matchup. Worm Coil is okay against Archon simply because it leaves bodies behind, but not great. Hydroid Crisis, kind of whatever. Let's actually see what creativity has for a matchup like this. Dex. Answer is not a whole lot. They like just the stuff in their main deck. I guess Elish Norn is a problem. But we really don't have an answer for that, so it's kind of whatever. Don't feel like you need the basic island. Not a relic matchup, not an endurance matchup. Only other cards I would consider would be the Hydroid Cressa. Worm Coils. Dismember can like pick off a token, but that doesn't really feel like the fight you want to be fighting. Let's go down Arboreal Grazer, I guess. Turn 3 Dryad, turn 4 Elish Norn. Guess we'll keep it. Obviously, if we hit an Amulet, it becomes much better. Ding, ding, ding. That's quasi-Amulet anyway. It's an interesting one. Alright, pass. Turn 3 double amulet. There's a Saga bounce land. What's our opponent have here? Leyline Binding, perhaps? Mm-hmm. Guess we should have played the bounce land first. I'm not sure why they shock that in, unless they have like Aldemari's Call or something. Yeah, creativity. Alright, let's move on. So far we've played against Omnath Elementals, Rakdos Scam, and Creativity. So I've literally played against, I think, more tier decks than I play against in the competitive leagues. Just a thought. Turn 1, Amulet, go.
Cute doggy came to say hi.
Which one? There's like a ton of them on the street.
I haven't seen this one before. It's like a black lab or something. I know there's a lot of black labs, but I haven't seen this one with its owner before.
Guy or girl?
Female.
Smaller size for a black lab?
No, about right.
Because I've seen one that's on the smaller size for a black lab.
I mean, his head came up, or her head came up to,
I meant more like slender, narrow, rather than...
Oh, well, I've only ever seen slender and narrow, so...
I'm just used to China.
Well, China was fat.
Not really.
Compared to what a black lab should be, yeah, really.
Possibly.
Labs are supposed to be slender and sleek. And full of energy and high strung.
So my opponent besieges my Dryad. Okay, Forest. Fortunately, I think that changes what we're capable of doing. So... Get an amulet. Access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just wondering if I'm supposed to make a construct here or not. Amulet. Bounce land. Thanks, Foz. I appreciate that. Alright, flip mana. Flip mana. Turn bounce land. Transmute. Grab Summoner's Pact. Next turn we have access to 3 amulets. One, two, three. Teferi, bounce construct, or are we bouncing her as a saga? Okay. So we're actually going to be a mana short from casting a Titan this turn. So I guess we just start by killing Teferi. Drawing Valakut was not great. Pass. Looking creativity here, which is annoying. They do nothing. Okay. Cultivator is, ironically, one of the cards we wanted to draw here. We could have Titaned, but not with protection from reprieve. So I feel like our opponent's going to go for creativity on 2. Yep. Alright, draw land. So 6 mana, 7 mana. Okay, go get an amulet. Play growth chamber. Play Cultivator Colossus. Play growth chamber. Alright, that. Alright. Turn that. Summoner's Pact. Primeval Titan. Primeval Titan. Yes. Grab that. Grab Grill Turf. Bounce, Tulare West. Transmute Tulare West. Grab Summoner's Pact. Summoner's Pact. Grab Primeval Titan. Cast Primeval Titan. Yes. Get the Suva Handler Battlements. Copy. Allocate. Alright, get rid of cruelty. Doesn't look like you have anything else in your hand to win the game with, or anything in your deck. So there's a Sovereign play. Don't really care about the mana right now because there's nothing more we can do with it. Alright, inner opponent finally conceded. Alright, Foz, hope you have a good night. I'll be back 1 second for the final match.
Coffee. Of course you get to call her coffee.
I told myself when I finish this one, I'll go back to where I get the baked ones.
Gotcha. Alright, so that was a illustration of why there's a one-of Cultivator Colossus in these decks. Alright, one final match against Ginger Guy 83.
What's his name?
Screen name is Ginger Guy 83.
Must be a redhead.
Good possibility. Alright.
About our age.
Turn 1, Amulet. Turn 2. We'll try it. We're like one bounce land away from this hand being really good, or some type of accelerator, so. Think. Lean on giant. It gets forced, it gets forced. It's kind of whatever. Alright. Okay. So, mono green maybe? Not mono green, mono black coffers. Because I don't think Scam plays this main, so. Yeah, looks like we're up against Coffers. Knight's Whisper. Actually, we get to Titan next turn, right? Castle is land 3. Yeah, I can't play the Forest this turn. I actually have to play Castle. One of the castles, or potentially Viseju. Viseju, Viseju me. No, actually, it doesn't matter if we play that tapped or not. Sacrifice, sure. Hold Viseju in case they play like Coffers or something here. That's annoying. Forest here and pass. Maybe we should have played Viseju, but I feel like our opponent's got Demolition Field something. Nope. Okay. Can't hold Demolition Field up all game, my friend. So that's what you decide to go after. Couldn't you just done that last turn? I guess you have Thoughtseeker maybe? That is very bizarre. Prime time. Lists my growth chamber. It's unlikely our opponent has enough. Transmute for another Titan, I suppose. Summoner's Pact. So I figured they have a removal spell here. Is this Marge pitching like your entire hand? Indeed. So they could have held off and Blood Chiefs Thirsted. I don't understand why you would use so many resources here. Title Notice mana with the Titan. Do this. Opponent knows we have this. They have Shadow of Doubt. More power to them, I guess. Alright, Primeval Titan. Add that. Cast Primeval Titan. Yes. Grab Teleria West. Semi-Grove Chamber. Do what we were trying to do last turn, but much more successfully this turn. It's called Game Over, my friend. Transmute. Get a Summoner's Pact. Summoner's Pact. Get a Primeval Titan. Cast Primeval Titan. ETB effect. Yes. It's unlikely they have answers to 2 copies of this, so do this. Hopefully I did that in the right order. Give that haste. And tap, tap. Gotta be mindful of that with that. Haste. Two Primeval Titans. Yes. Vesuva. Balance Land. Suva, copy of Valakut. None of these particularly matter as we can't do anything with the mana. He bounce land to our hand. Yes. Grab double Urza Saga, I guess, because some type of backup plan in case our opponent has a damnation or something. and pass. We'll just leave Dryad for next turn. Because if they have Damnation, they'll basically have to tap out. Invoke Despair. Yes. Dread. Prime time. Yes. Random land. Random land. Giant. Allocate. 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 And okay. So mono black coffers. Be mindful of if they have Karn, things like the Stonebrain and such. So maybe I want to diversify our threats. Island doesn't, well, Island doesn't make much sense. The Stonebrain, not really for that matchup. Dismember. Coil could make some sense. Bring in one copy of Crisis. Illusionorn doesn't feel like it does much. Maybe it's like go down like that. Stonebrain doesn't make much sense. Leave us with multiple threats in case they Stonebrain us once. Though if they get the Stonebrain rolling twice, we could be in a lot of trouble, but don't even know for sure that they have the Karn in their build. Some versions do, some versions don't. Alright, this card, Bill, this hand has neither Amulet nor Bounce lands, so feels like a mulligan. Yes, put back one of the Besages. Beast. Ratchet Bomb, sure. Oh well, there goes our Primeval Titan, I guess. Which we kind of figured might happen, but possibly should have played Sanctum there. Opponent's like, do I really want to crack? Yep, looks like they were going to crack it anyway, so. Use Mountain Tone. Okay. I think it'll push. Sure. You control. Yeah, so float a green. Interesting. Okay, blue. Okay, opponent's got a frack ton of mana. Mm-hmm. Walking Ballista? Okay. That's a weird game. We know for sure that they have Necromantia in their list. Still don't think I want to go up on our Boreal Grazers. I'll try it. We're one good land away from, one bounce land away from sure. Does Dryad get us where we want to go? So that nets us 5 down to 2. Dryad gets us back to 6. Titan. I think that was about the best draw we can have. We don't really have to Dryad. Summoner's Pact. Primeval Titan. Cast Primeval Titan. Yes. Grab that. Handler Battlements. Titan Haste. Yes. Sonic Growth Chamber. Do I want to go Sonic Growth Chamber? I feel like it might be Teleria West Forest. Sure. looks just like, yep, I want you to win this game, despite how much you punted last game. Dryad. Yes. Valakut. Where's this? We go. Alright, and we got the through two. Alright, so definitely a weird night. Lost Elementals twice and then beat Coffers, Scam, and Creativity. So 4 tier decks plus Coffers, which is a fairly known meta deck. I mean, this build's kind of clean, pretty stock in what it does, other than the Elish Norn in the main. Not sure where the Worm Coil Engine is in terms of stock or not. Deck just felt very clean, very powerful. Other than the Elementals matchup, which just felt terrible. This build seems pretty reasonable. I mean, it's a little bit vulnerable to Blood Moon, but we do have 3 Boseijus. Sure, there's no Force of Vigors or anything in the sideboard, but we do have like these for like the grindy matchups, and I'm presuming Murktide and such. Worm Coil Engine came in. Dismember is the only one we really didn't bring in, and even that, like, you could have brought it in against Scam, but I just felt like the value game plan was better. And there are certain other decks, you want to kill Ragavan very quickly. Relic Opportunist, we didn't really run into the right matchups. Stonebrain, we brought in a couple matchups. Didn't really see it in any relevant time frame, but it is an interesting card. Endurance, just a powerful card to have access to. So, kind of used all parts of the Buffalo tonight and had a solid run other than that. Those couple of matchups against Elementals, which just seems terrible unless you find your Elish Norn, so... But anywho, been a while since I played Titan. I think it's probably been a good 3-4 years since we've done it on stream / on the channel. So I know it and Yogg are 2 decks that I hadn't touched. I don't think I've ever played Yogg at all. And Amulet was a deck that I hadn't played much. So it's good to get a little bit more content on the channel for that. But I want to thank everybody for hanging out. Foz for making a comeback. Seeker Nay. Everybody else that was hanging out tonight. And... don't forget, next week we will be, what's up, Mistaken? Amulet, yep. Indeed. 3-2 with Titan. It's a solid deck, so. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to give us a follow if you like Modern and Pioneer content. We alternate every other Sunday. And then give us a follow on YouTube, MTG Nexus, and hope to see you for next week's stream. See ya.